This video is for the third knowledge organiser for your 10Higher classes. What I would like you to do is read the knowledge organiser, then watch this video and work through the examples from page 1 of that, try the questions from page 2 of your knowledge organiser, and then complete any Maths Watch work set. What we're going to do today is we're going to factorise more complicated quadratic equations. They're more complicated because we have a numerical value in front of our x squared. That means we can't simply look for numbers that add to give minus 5 and times to give minus 3. There are some extra steps to this that we have to complete. The other thing to be aware of is on your knowledge organiser, it's gone through a method of factorising this using trial and improvement. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you an alternative method that you can use to factorise these expressions. So to start off, we still look at numbers that add to give our middle term, which is minus 5. But now we're going to consider numbers that times to give us minus 6, and that comes from our front coefficient and our last number. So that gives us minus 6, okay? So we want numbers that add to give minus 5 and times to give minus 6. Now if we look at factor pairs of minus 6, that means that one's positive, like 1 and minus 6, and 1 is negative. So we have minus 1 and 6, minus 2 and 3, and minus 3 and 2. Now looking for pairs of these that add to minus 5, it was actually my first number that I put down that give us that. Now, what we do for this is we take our expression and we split our middle number into two terms. So we have our minus 3 and we have our 2x squared. And what we imagine is this is going to be x take away 6x that add together to give us this here. So what we do is we add these together. So we're going to have plus x here and I'm going to have minus 6x here. And what I do is I factorise each side of these into single brackets, similar to what I did in my first knowledge organiser of the week with you. So if we have a look at this, the highest common factor of 2x squared and x is x. So I get 2x plus 1 in the brackets because x times 2x gives you 2x squared, x times 1 gives you x. For this here, I'm going to pull out minus 3 as a common factor. Now 3 goes into both. What I want is I want the same values in my brackets for each side of my expression. So I want 2x plus 1 here and I want 2x plus 1 here. If I just pulled out 3 here, I would have got minus 2x minus 1. So I pull out minus 3 to change the signs in both of these when they go down to here. Now, what happens is what we have in the same brackets, that becomes our first double bracket, 2x plus 1. And then these values here, they go into my second bracket. And I get 2x plus 1, x minus 3. Now if you expand that out, you'll get the right answer. It gives you 2x squared, 1x minus 6x and minus 3, which simplifies to that. But that's how we can solve this. We say that we add to give the middle term, we times the first and the last, and that tells us what it has to times to, and then we split this into 2 and factorise each into single brackets. I'm going to go through another example, a more complicated example, to show you how to do this again. So again, it's got to add to give us minus 19, but this time it's got a times to give us 6 times 10, which is 60. Now, we want to think numbers that times to give 60, but add to give us minus 19. Now, this is a little bit more complicated because we would normally have gone for two positive numbers in here because it's times and to give a positive, but we've got to add to give a negative, so that tells us our two numbers are negative. So we list some numbers that we know that times to give 60 and we have both of them as negatives. So we can go minus 10 and minus 6. That doesn't work. We can say minus 1 and minus 60. I knew that one wasn't going to work. Minus 2 and minus 30. Then I can go minus 4 and minus 15. That happens to work because it adds to give me minus 19. So I do the same thing as what I did before. I split this into 2 and I go 6x squared minus 4x, and I go minus 15x plus 10. And I factorise each side. So I say what goes into the left hand side. So 2 goes into both of these numbers and so does x. So I pull out 2x and I get 3x minus 2 on this side. Now for this side again, I want 3x minus 2 in my brackets. That means I have to pull out a negative to change the sign here. 5 goes into both of these numbers. So I pull out minus 5. And if I wanted to check, minus 5 times 3x gives me minus 15x. Minus 5 times minus 2 gives me 10. I then factorize, I then put my numbers down. So these both go down to give us this one. And then my 2x goes here. And my minus 5 goes here. And that is my answer factorised. So what I would like you to do is use this video to help you complete the questions on side 2 of your knowledge organiser. You can use either the method on the knowledge organiser or the one that I have set out to help you do there. Then complete your work on Maths Watch set by your class teacher. Thank you.